Hey folks, how's it going? Joe's Neon here. You know, I understand that there's 452,321 videos out there on YouTube on how to make sawdust fire starters with paraffin wax and sawdust. But I got to thinking about it, and I wanted to make a completely waterproof wax sawdust fire starter that I could light with a ferrocerium rod. And I got looking all over and watching a bunch of videos, and I really didn't see where you can light one with a ferrocerium rod. So I got to thinking about it, and I said, heck, you know what? I got an idea here, let's try it. And you know, it turned out to work very well. I'm sure there's a couple videos or whatever out there that do it pretty much the same way, but I just had this thought and I gave it a shot, and I was pretty happy with the results. So anyhow, let me go over what I'm using here to do what I'm doing. You need cotton. This is just bulk cotton, roll cotton. Okay, we had this old box, and we weren't going to use it for medical situations. So I thought this would be a great purpose to use it for. You're going to need the cotton. You're going to need petroleum jelly. You're going to need paraffin wax. You're going to have a little ladle or a spoon works really good. Sawdust. Now this sawdust is a really nice texture. This burns quicker. If you use a real fine sawdust, you'll get a longer burn time out of it. But this burns quicker, but it burns really nice for a small, compact fire starter. Okay? These are shavings from a planer. My buddy's planer right down the road. So I got all the shavings I could possibly imagine. These little plastic, like shot cups. You can pick these up at any type of a party warehouse or a party store. You can even order them online. They're so cheap, and they're reusable for this purpose. So let's get started. Right here, what I've already done is I've got some wax melted down, and I put a little bit of blue candle wax in there so it'll be easier for you folks to see. All right. So this is what I got. I've got a tuna fish can here that I've put a little wire handle on it, and I've got my wax all melted. Now you just take a block of this and you bust it up so it fits, and just let it sit atop a piece of aluminum foil over the top, or here I'm using a coaster. It works great. You know, the more wax you put in it, the warmer you'll have to keep it. It'll like to cool off quicker. I just use a coffee pot warmer. This is something that you would put on your desk or wherever and set your coffee pot on. It keeps your coffee hot. Well, it's a great wax melter to keep your wax melted. So let's get started here. First thing we want to do is we want to tear off a piece of cotton. Boy, I don't like that piece. Yeah, that's better. You know, about the size of a cotton ball. If you guys are going to use cotton balls, don't get the big cotton balls, the jumbo ones. They're too big. You'll have to cut them in half. Okay, so then I take my petroleum jelly and I smear it all in there real good. Now, I've done this with 6 or 7 or 8 of them, or even a big piece, into a Ziploc bag, and it just doesn't seem to coat as well as if you do it one at a time. So, you know what? Put on some good tunes and enjoy making these things. So, okay, now before I put that into the bottom of the cup, what I want to do is I want to take, and I just want to put a ladle of wax in the cup. Then I go ahead and I take my cotton and I just drop it right in there and flatten it right out. Okay, so what's going on here is that if you don't put any of the petroleum jelly on the cotton, a lot of wax will soak into the cotton. And when a lot of wax soaks into the cotton, what happens is it's hard to make it fray. And you'll see in a little while why it's important for the cotton to be able to fray. I think you know where I'm going with this. Anyhow, just take your cup and really pack a good, generous portion of that sawdust right in there. And it's just going to start soaking up the wax that's left in the bottom. Okay? Now we come back over here and we add more wax. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I got pieces of marble here. It just helps them cool quicker. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just setting them on the marble. Let's go ahead and make another one here. Again, grab yourself a good hunk of cotton. All right. Get you some petroleum jelly on there. Really rub that in. You kind of almost can't use too much. But get that in there so that the wax doesn't completely take over the absorption of this process here. And I just kind of form it, into a disc shape, kind of like that, And now let's grab us another cup. All right. Take one ladle. I would say I'm putting about a teaspoon in there. Okay, and then I go ahead and put my cotton in the bottom. And you can see the cotton is staying white in the center. It's not completely being absorbed by wax. All right, now we go ahead and get us a nice generous amount of sawdust. Now, you can fill the whole cup, all right, and really make quite the fire starter. I have found out through experimentation with these that for what I would need, for what I would use, I would not need no more than this much in a cup. Okay? If you fill that whole cup, you're going to have some serious burn time. Okay, you can see the separations in layers here between the sawdust and the cotton. Okay? That's how it looks on the bottom. All right? And as these cool, what I do is I just take my finger and I just kind of shape them. I just kind of pack them as the wax is cooling, and kind of just get it nice and flat like that. All right? So, if you've got the time, and you're not in any hurry, you can just let these sit and they'll cure, they'll become cool, not too long. But for the purposes of television, I am going to pop these in the freezer, and I'll be right back with you and show you what we get. All right, folks, so we're back here. Our wax has cooled. I forced a couple in the freezer just for this purpose. I actually find it works really good, actually, to just pop them in the freezer and harden them up. But when you take these little plastic cups, what you do is you just kind of squeezing around the rim like this. Did you hear that? You just go right around squeezing the rim, just like this. And they fall right out. And this is what you got. Okay? You can see the layers. All right, now what's interesting, though, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak one of these in water for an hour, and then we're going to light it, okay? But just to show you what happens here is when I go ahead and prick at this, do you see this cotton fibers are coming right up? Do you see those cotton fibers? They're dry. They're not all completely soaked with wax. You see that? This is the whole point. All right? So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to soak it in water, and I'll get right back with you, and we'll do a test. See how they burn. All right, folks, so here's what we got. I forgot about it, and I've had this thing sitting in here for about 2 hours, okay? Now, if she's going to get wet, it was going to get wet, that's for sure. But check this thing out. Look at with the diameter of my finger, okay? I know the video's a little bit dark, but it'll serve for flame purposes. They're really small. Look. They don't weigh a darn thing, and they're really tough. They're really durable. Okay, so when I do this, I like to use my Swiss Army saw because it strikes my ferrocerium rod very well. And all I do is I just take the tip, and I just start scratching it. And you'll start to see the fiber from the cotton start to come up. Okay? And that's what we want to do, is raise a bunch of that fiber. Just like that. Alright? Beautiful. Look at that. Oh, look at that cotton fiber. See? Now all I have to do is just hit it once with the old ferrocerium rod. We should be in business here. Alright. Now she's spitting and sputtering a little bit because of the water that was on the outside. But that will not deter it from burning. Believe me. This crown, the cotton and wax crown, will burn for about 5 minutes. Let's have a look at the watch at this point. Okay, we just lit it. And we're 10 minutes to 3 o'clock. Okay? So I'm not going to keep the camera on the whole time because it's going to take a while to burn. It's pretty surprising. About 10 minutes. I would say about 10 minutes. And once the sawdust really catches on, oh, the flame will really be pretty solid. If you can't get a fire going with one of these, I don't know what to tell you. Carry a blowtorch. But these are really neat. I just haven't seen many videos on how to, a fire starter like this that you can light with a ferrocerium rod. I just think that's I think that's kind of unique. And like I said, they're very durable, they're very small, they're very light, and they're waterproof. So we haven't even gotten to the car or to the sawdust yet, but I'll turn this back on once she's in full burn. All right, now as you can see, the actual sawdust has caught fire. Now she's going to burn really good and strong for at least another 6 minutes. Give you an update on the watch. Okay. But I mean, man, I like it a lot. They'll definitely have a couple of those in my my fire starting kit. I've seen so many videos, like I started to say in the beginning of this video, that just, they're very classic ways of making sawdust fire starters. But I found this to be an interesting combination, and I'm not taking credit for anything. I'm sure there's videos out there where folks are doing the same thing. I just didn't see them. So, yeah. Just wanted to share that with you folks.